io penso che ci sia un problema di compatibilità tra la cultura islamica o certa interpretazione della cultura islamica e i diritti e i valori della nostra civiltà. A me non sfugge che la gran parte dei centri culturali islamici in Italia sono finanziati dall'Arabia Saudita e l'Arabia Saudita è una nazione che a casa sua applica la Sharia e Sharia significa lapidazione per l'adulterio, pena di morte per apostasia, pena di morte per omosessualità.
What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy, bringing you another gold nugget that you can either pick up or you can just kick it aside. British and Italy's prime ministers are having some issue, though they say, when it comes to immigration. And they're saying that this is a huge problem that really might be or will cause a destabilization of their economy. Y'all just hold on to the end when I come back. The Italian prime minister, Meloni, has said derogatory statements against the Islamic Quran and their so-called culture or their Sharia law. Check this video out and I'll be back to explain to you the sly hand they're dealing.
There is no issue to which we need to apply Thatcher's radicalism and drive to more than illegal migration. Now, our opponents just want to ignore this issue. They want to put their heads in the sand and hope that it goes away. Well, let me tell them that it won't. And our enemies will also see that we are unable to deal with this, and then they will so increasingly use migration as a weapon, deliberately driving people to our shores to try to destabilize our societies. So if we do not tackle this problem, the numbers will only grow. It will overwhelm our countries and our capacity to help those who actually need our help the most. The cost of accommodating these people will anger our citizens, who won't understand why their money should have to be spent on dealing with the consequences of this evil trade. It will destroy the public's faith, not just in us as politicians, but in our very systems of government. And let me say this, if that requires us to update our laws and lead an international conversation to amend post-war frameworks around asylum, then we must do that. Because if we don't fix this problem now, the boats will keep coming and more lives will be lost at sea.
Io penso che ci sia un problema di compatibilità tra la cultura islamica o certa interpretazione della cultura islamica e i diritti e i valori della nostra civiltà. A me non sfugge che la gran parte dei centri culturali islamici in Italia sono finanziati dall'Arabia Saudita e l'Arabia Saudita è una nazione che a casa sua applica la Sharia e Sharia significa lapidazione per l'adulterio, pena di morte per apostasia, pena di morte per omosessualità. Credo che queste questioni vadano poste, che non vuol dire generalizzare sull'Islam, vuol dire porre il problema che c'è in atto un processo di islamizzazione dell'Europa che è molto distante dai valori della nostra.
What do you think? Well, you know what, family? Sometimes in life, it's not what a person says. It's really not what they said, but what is not being said, if that makes any sense. Check this out. Italy's prime minister, she states that the Sharia law from the Muslims is not compatible to European or Italy's culture, or I say lifestyle. You see, when you have in a Sharia law that if you cheat on your spouse or you apostatize or you walk away as a non-believer or you are homosexual, caught in the act, these are abominations and you could be stoned. Well, we know that the Western world and their culture, they live that type of lifestyle. You know, I've lived in Germany and I've lived in America, and homosexuality, bestiality, pedophilia runs rampant in these countries. And when you talk about a law that many people are marching in the streets, they're sharing with the people that they don't want their children to be fed a lot of this agendas that are going on, many of the Europeans in them get upset. So she'd rather just do away with these Islamic people coming in, starting to protest about how their laws or how their culture or their system works. Now, I have to say this. I agree with her. Why do I agree with her? Because who has a right to go into another country to try to change up the way people perform or do business or how their culture is. No Muslim, no Christian, no black, white, whomever has a right to go into another country and tell them what they're doing is wrong or right, or they want them to change laws. And the reason why I agree is because isn't that what the Europeans, as well as Islam, has done in Africa? Christianity have killed millions of Africans by the muzzle of the gun. If you don't comply, you die. Isn't they also are adding pressures right now into the African countries, trying to sway them to go bring in the LGBT? Yes, they have no right to even try to make a governmental democracy out of the systems that are in place in Africa. I've said before, democracies don't work when you got tribes of people from different walks of life. So what gives you the right? But Europe always want that. Haven't we seen now just recently Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso kick out the French because they have been controlling and ruling their economies? They have forced on their own agendas, ideologies. We have to really recognize that the Western world wants to do things their way, but then force you to do things their way, but don't want nobody else talking about how they do business. But let me get into the real deal. Immigrations. Have you noticed in the last 2 years that countries have been flooded with immigrants coming in? I don't buy it for 1 second as these people stand on their podiums and act like it's a problem. They're doing everything possible to try to keep these immigrants from coming in, because we see there in America, you have gaps in the walls and people are freely to walk in and there is nothing being done. What is going on? Well, you take it from your man, not your boy, who served in the military on the intelligence side, that this is a ploy, a plot, a scheme in order to destabilize economies. Why is that? These European countries, number one, these people only have one child per family. Their numbers are plummeting. Their populous people are going lower and lower downhill, which then puts their social security, their retirements and their investment in danger. But what better way to sustain that by allowing immigrants to come in and put up a fuss when your people get upset when they're saying, we got to do something about immigrations. Yeah, we're done. We got to stop this, because it sounds good in the ear, but they're really not doing anything. Because even though the locals are mad, the politicians are not, because the politicians have more invested in the country than the average person that is on the street. You know, just like America, you have over 150,000 people who have come into the country. And where do these people go? Where do they live? What type of jobs do they get? Yours. That's right. Many people are not trying to work at jobs that's making $8 an hour, $9 an hour. There are greedy corporations and companies that want to pay you the least amount of money so that they can continue to make all the profits. That's right, for y'all who are hovering around $50, $60, $70, $80,000. When these people get a lift, grants to go to college and even get their degrees, your $60, $70, $80,000 so-called salary is going to be dropped when they come in and replace you for a cheaper employee. This is the whole scheme, to keep an economy from falling. That is how they would do it. Now, they use the word destabilizing, but that's a ploy. That is just to keep the people interested in thinking that their leaders are doing something about the situation when they're not. I'll say it again. You better be prepared that if you have a career, you have skills, that somebody can just easily come in and take without lengthy amount of education, your job is in jeopardy. So I hope that you understand, family, that these systems in place are changing rapidly. Even Italy Prime Minister, she has opened the doors to show you those who follow the righteous path, they don't want to hear the ignorance. They want things to get where they feel should be, and that's the place of unrighteousness. This is your man, not your boy, bringing you another gold nugget that you can either pick up or you can just kick it aside.